Hi guys, section 3 today of chapter 20. Feel free to follow along. We're talking about the excretory system now. We're done with the respiratory system. Let's talk about the excretory system. Okay, so the function of the excretory system is to basically collect waste from the body. There's lots of chemical reactions going on in your body, and they actually produce some things that we need to get rid of, okay? And so it's the collection of that waste, but then it's also the removal of that waste, okay? Excretion is the removal process. That's basically peeing, okay? We're not talking about the removal of the digestive process waste. We're talking about waste that's coming from our blood now, okay? So urination, or peeing, is more properly known as excretion. The kidneys are the main organs of the excretory system. You have two of them. They are redundant. You can survive with one kidney, okay? And they're kind of high up in your back. You can kind of see on that diagram there. And that's where this filtration takes place. Each kidney contains about 1 million nephrons. These nephrons are tiny little filtering devices, okay? So just like your lungs contain millions of alveoli, and that's where the actual gas exchange takes place, your kidneys contain these little tiny nephrons, and that's where the actual filtration of this waste takes place, okay? Your kidneys produce urine, and that is just basically a watery substance. It's mostly water, but then it contains the dissolved waste that your body is trying to get rid of, to excrete out, okay? All right, so how do the kidneys work? How do they make urine? So let's go back to this slide real quick. There we go. You can see these major blood vessels. Okay, let me get my pen. You've got the vena cava right here, and this is actually the descending aorta. Okay, the biggest blood vessels in your body. Branching off of those are blood vessels that lead directly to your kidneys. Okay, so the formation of urine, the blood flows into your kidneys, and it's called a renal artery that brings the blood in. Renal means kidney. Okay. And then the blood eventually goes down to smaller and smaller capillaries, and it gets to these nephrons. Okay. Within the nephron, and so this part of the diagram over here is basically show you what's happening inside of these nephrons, okay, these small little filtration units, okay? Inside the nephron is this thing called a glomerulus, and it's a cluster of capillaries, and that's right here, this part, okay? So as the blood's going through the glomerulus, all those capillaries, water, glucose, urea, I'll tell you what that is in a minute, and any other waste products are actually filtered out of the capillary, okay? And they get placed in these tubes. So you can see these kind of yellow color tubes. That's where this fluid is now. So water, glucose, and all these waste products get taken out of the blood in the glomerulus, okay? Well, then it travels down these tubes. This really long one right here, this one, goes down and up like that, is known as the loop of Henle, named after some dude named Henle. Well, as that fluid is traveling down that tube, there's other capillaries around it, okay? And while it's traveling, most of the water is actually reabsorbed back into the blood. Your body only gets rid of the water it needs to. It keeps most of it, okay? The glucose is also reabsorbed, okay? So one of the first tests to see if somebody is diabetic is they'll test your urine for the presence of glucose. You're not supposed to have glucose in your urine. It actually gets reabsorbed as it goes through that loop of Henle, okay? And then what's left in that tube, in that loop, and then it comes down this way, is urine. And it's water and all those dissolved wastes. You need some water because you need to be able to flush it out, and that waste needs to be dissolved. People that get kidney stones, it's those waste products that have crystallized and they're not getting flushed out. If you don't drink enough water, or if you drink too much soda or energy drinks or things like that, high in sugar, your kidneys get clogged, and you don't have enough water to dissolve those materials and take them out. So those materials actually form crystals, and they get stuck in your kidneys. Well, they have to come out eventually, and they go through those little tiny tubes, and then they come out of your body, and it can be quite painful. I've never actually experienced it, but lucky for me. So you've got those capillaries working there. The urine gets taken away. That filtered blood now then leaves the kidney through the renal vein, and then it joins the rest of your bloodstream. Okay, but it's clean now. It's been filtered. If somebody is undergoing kidney dialysis, that's what's taking place. Their kidneys aren't filtering their blood properly, so their blood is being filtered through a machine. Okay, and it's doing what those nephrons should be doing. Okay, well, once the urine is formed, it needs to come out of the body. Okay, so it's formed in the kidneys. Then it travels down these, you have 2 kidneys, so you have 2 tubes leading out of the kidneys, and those are called ureters. Okay, you have 2 ureters. The urine is then stored in your bladder, your urinary bladder. Everyone has a bladder. When it starts to get full, you start to feel like you need to go to the bathroom. And then finally the urine is removed from the body through a single tube called the urethra. Everyone has a urethra, males and females. It's just that the male urethra is actually outside of the body, and the female urethra is inside of the body. But we both release urine in the same way. All right, so here's the composition of urine, okay? It is 95% water. And then of that 5% of those dissolved materials, 2% of it is urea. And urea is a byproduct of proteins being broken down. When your body is making proteins, when they're all used up, when they're old, your body doesn't need them anymore. Your liver actually breaks them down and produces urea. So 2% of the urine that you're releasing is urea. And then the other 3% is just other dissolved waste. We don't have to get into what those are. Salts and ammonia, that's why urine smells. Creatine, it's from your muscles. You don't have to worry about those so much, okay? So your kidneys perform a really important function. Not only do they produce urine, they also help us maintain a proper water balance in our body. Our body wants to be at homeostasis. It wants to be balanced, okay? So your body will absorb the water it needs. It will flush out the least amount of water it needs to get those waste products out. And so what's going to happen is if you are not drinking enough water, your urine is not going to have as much water in it because your body is going to hang on to that water. Your body needs the water for all of those chemical processes to take place. That's when your pee is really dark and yellow and stinky, because the waste concentration is higher than a 5% concentration, because you actually have less water. If you're drinking a lot of water, though, your body can actually flush out extra water, and then your urine is nice and clear and it's not as stinky. Okay, so look at the color of your pee. You want it to be as light as possible. That means you're getting plenty of water. Okay, but it's not just your kidneys. There's other organs of excretion. There's other organs that help you release waste products. Okay, your lungs. We exhale carbon dioxide. That's a waste product. And extra water vapor can kind of come out that way too. Your skin, your sweat glands release water and extra salts, okay? Also part of the chemical process of your body, and that's why your sweat is salty, okay? And then your liver helps break down some of the waste products to be smaller. Like the urea I was talking about, those proteins are too large to be filtered directly through your kidneys. So your liver breaks them up into smaller pieces, and urea is a result of that. And so it's kind of a precursor, almost like digestion, where it's breaking down that waste product to be more easily excreted. And that is all for the excretory system. See you guys later.